Please welcome Mark Waters.
Thank you. Good morning, thank you for being here. I know we're up against the networking general session, so big competition, but I appreciate you choosing to invest your time with us this morning. We're going to make it a rich, fast-paced, and insightful session. My name's Mark Waters. I lead customers, integrators, and services for HPE globally. I'm delighted to be hosting the session today. Our intent, our goal, is to give some real insight, practical guidance, and hopefully a bit of inspiration as you consider technology strategy, technology projects, business outcomes. And we're going to talk a little bit about the role that technology platforms play in achieving some of that, all the way from data center strategy, right the way up to AI outcomes. Now, I am a services leader, so I'm going to be very services-led in the approach that we talk today. It builds upon my belief that actually with all the great innovation you see in HPE, it is our services teams, our people on the ground that really bring that to life and bring the value and the benefit from it. I'm going to be joined by three absolutely super guests on three programs I've been personally involved with, all direct invitations from me, so thank you for agreeing to participate. It's appreciated. We're going to look at three technology platforms that will have similarities but also differences, from a greenfield environment, a hybrid scale-up platform, and in one scenario, effectively a temporary AI factory. But to set the scene for that, I just kind of wanted to do kind of one chart to give a sense on kind of framing all of this around technology platforms and the value or the services value that can be added. You know, what I think you're seeing here on one chart is a bringing together of all of the great innovation, announcements, technology that you've heard across the last day and a half here at Discover, and how we have a services capability that operates across the full life cycle, right the way from the kind of advisory into planning, into implementation, and into day two operations to kind of deliver against those goals. And the role that our services teams can play in just helping realize, becoming true partners, and ultimately speeding the time to business value. And our services operate all the way through from our data center capability, where we have modular data centers, data center consulting, which is a huge part of any technology strategy. Thinking about secure connectivity, you've heard a lot about networking and our networking capability. And as part of the merger with Juniper, we now have Juniper ProServe integrated within HPE services delivery capability. So our networking skills have never been stronger. Right the way then through into hybrid operations, how we deliver automation for efficiency, how we deliver orchestration across a platform, across the various aspects of it, and then into AI and AI outcomes, because increasingly technology platforms need to take advantage of that. And we have an AI services capability from looking at the architecture, looking at the data, really importantly, skills through education, through knowledge transfer, and then the solutions, working with different software providers to bring solutions, to bring the value from the platform. And we're going to talk about three specific customer platforms that fit very much within this model. We're going to talk about the Ryder Cup, we're going to talk about SPAR and the ICS organization, and of course Bosch as well. And I think in all of those scenarios, services has played a role across this life cycle to unlock the value from those platforms, using the kind of IP we have within the organization, which is all around our methodology, service guides, proven approaches to unifying the HPE portfolio and technology, the tooling that we have, the automations we can bring in, and most importantly, our people. And we really do have, an incredibly skilled, committed, and professional services organization out there delivering these outcomes that I'm very proud to represent. So with that said, and with that framing done, I'm going to invite to the stage my three guests. We have Elke Alfzug from the Automated Driving Alliance at Bosch, Dr. Max E. Hammer, the CTO at SPAR ITS, and Rob Smith, General Manager of PGA America. So please be very generous in your applause as we welcome our guests to the stage. Great to see you. Thank you. Please take a seat. Now I have some questions on my card. I may ask those questions, or I may just ask completely different questions for fun. So we'll see how we get on. Okay, right, I'm going to start with you, Max. I'm going to start with SPAR. So you're the CTO at SPAR. Maybe you could kind of give a sense of that and just highlight a little bit about the SPAR business.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me here on stage. So SPAR is a well-known brand which is doing business in 48 countries around the world, and in 2024 there were 14 stores throughout the world. But what is unique about the brand SPAR is that the national organizations are working independently, but they share a common heritage, and they are dedicated to serve good quality. And I'm here for SPAR Austria, and SPAR Austria is doing business in Austria, obviously, in northern Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, and Hungary. And our main pillars are in food retail, fashion retail, and shopping centers. And my role as CTO is to provide a common technology architecture that we can drive our business and enable our business for digitalization, more or less.
And so we've got large-scale retail, multiple countries. Alka, I'm going to come to you. Maybe you can kind of just explain kind of what is the Automated Driving Alliance and what's your role within it?
Happy to do so. Thanks for having me here. The Automated Driving Alliance is a big cooperation project between Bosch and Carriot, and we will bring automated driving to everyone. So our mission is to democratize automated driving and not just having it in the super expensive cars anymore. And my role within the automated driving is basically to enable the Automated Driving Alliance. So making everything that is needed to be able and develop a system, build models, but also verify and validate the system before we bring it to the road.
Okay, very important stuff. Groundbreaking technology, right? So critical. And then I'm going to come across to you, Rob. Now, I'm not going to ask you to explain what the Ryder Cup is, because I think we all know. Could you confirm who won this year? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think we have to go back to the tape on that.
Okay, all right, we'll check on that.
We'll look at it afterwards.
Yeah, we'll check the notes. So. But now, what is your role within the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, thanks,
or
Mark.
The PGA of America, yeah.
Yes, I lead the digital business at the PGA of America, which is primarily focused on the commercial partnerships as well as the intersection in technology in fan experiences. So the PGA is a trade association in the States based out of Texas. We support 30,000 hardworking golf professionals at clubs behind the desks, cutting the greens around the United States. But we have the privilege to own and operate a handful of championship events. Some might know the PGA Championship, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, and then an exciting one for this partnership was we are co-owners of the Ryder Cup with Ryder Cup Europe. So every 2 years we poke our head up and we focus on that great biennial event, which is where this partnership came to life.
Okay, fantastic. So kind of three kind of very different industries, but actually I think there's some kind of real linkages in the technology strategy. So Max, I'm gonna come back to you. Let's just look a bit more at how SPAR is thinking about technology. Now I know the stated vision is to kind of define the retail future. What does that really mean from a technology perspective? And can you maybe share any examples of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at or if you think about food retail, basically what you think about is a store, shelves, and products. But if you look behind the scenes, you see that there is a massive technical complexity and a massive technical pressure. Yeah. And we at SPAR ISS, we feel that more or less every day. So for us, it's really important to provide for our business the technological basis to drive our business, to evolve our business, and that's what we are trying to do. And this is, of course, a big challenge from our from our side, that the business is demanding so heavily that they want to do projects all the time. They want to evolve. They want to
everyone's got a great idea, yeah.
So great ideas around, and the demand is really a high pressure for us as an IT unit to deliver that services, and that somehow the idea where we came into this platform idea. But
yeah, so let's get a bit more into that. So the project we've been working together is called Snowball.
Exactly.
And you know, in a way, I'd kind of almost frame that as building effectively a greenfield platform to deliver for the future needs of the retail business. So what were the kind of the business, you talk about the demands from the business, what were the business drivers that were leading you towards making that decision and that choice, that kind of platform strategy that you've set out? Maybe you can explain a bit more what Snowball is.
Yeah, maybe to start a little bit from the challenging perspective, or what drove us to think in such a platform. So first of all, as I said, the demand is ever growing. So the digital appetite of our businesses is really growing, and they need and demand to have this common platform or have this common capability, these technical capabilities available. This is one part. The second part is that when we think about regulation, we are seeing that food retail might become a critical infrastructure in the future, which means we need to elevate our security services massively. So this is a big pressure for us from the technical point of view. And last but not least, there is also our core heart of our organization is the supply chain. So we want to provide real business continuity. And if you think about our supply chain, we are operating 23 warehouses throughout our organization. And if one of these warehouses is going down for, let's say, 2 hours, this is a big catastrophe for us. Because, customers go just away. They don't wait until, let's say, the goods are there. And so this is very important from our point of view, the demand from our business, the security, and the business continuity. So these are the topics which led us to think in a new dimension, which is the platform Snowball. And why did we call it Snowball?
Yeah, why did we call it Snowball?
Why did we call it Snowball? Because we said, yeah, we need to start like a small, perfectly shaped ball, which we roll and roll and roll. And when we roll a snowball in the snow, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So the idea is really to start small and grow over time. And as we saw it yesterday in the keynote, I think one of the major aspects is that with this security and business continuity, we just don't want to bolt it on top of the platform, but we want to have it built in. So that's really the idea, to have a platform which has built-in mechanisms for security, for business continuity, and deliver the demand from which is coming from our business.
Yeah, highly secure, highly resilient, and then able to provide that business innovation.
Exactly.
Okay, Elke, let's move back across to you. So we talked a bit about Automated Driving Alliance and your role within it. As you look at the outcomes that the Alliance is trying to achieve and this democratization of automated driving, how important is the role of technology within that? And again, what are the key drivers for the technology aspect of that business demand?
Evidently, it's important to be fast. Yeah, if we want to compete as Bosch and Carriot with the Automated Driving Alliance globally, we have to be really fast. So we need, on the one hand, technology that makes our development fast.
So speed in developing the platform, but maybe slower speed in the cars, just to, yeah.
Maybe. Depends, right?
Yeah,
I don't know how you prefer. Yeah. And looking at the car, there is something else which is very important. That's, from our perspective, safety. Yeah, yes. I don't want to make the user test our systems. I want to have it really validated and verified before we release it to the road. So I need quite some technology to be able to do that. So evidently the system itself, it's about AI, but also building the system is about AI. And I need a lot of things to make this happen.
And what were the key business demands that were sort of driving that? So safety is one, speed is another?
Of course, it's security.
Security.
Security in the system itself, but also during development, we are handling lots of data that we collect on the roads. Of course, we don't want to do anything with the data that is not conform with all the regulatories that we have. So safety and security is a very important thing.
Okay, and then as you kind of approach the project, I want to talk a bit about the data center strategy. I said we go from data center to AI outcome. So the data center strategy, so I know that initially you started work in a public cloud environment as you kind of going through some of the earlier stages, and then you made a decision to effectively look at a co-located data center strategy, so with more ownership and kind of control for Bosch within that. Kind of what were the key drivers or trade-offs in making that decision?
Yeah, there's one interesting thing that is very important talking about this validation stuff, because evidently you have to test in the car. but somehow cars are a little complicated in that state. So this doesn't work, that doesn't work. You have many sensors, everything is in development. That's not much fun, and I want to keep my developers fast. So I need a solution to take the system out of the car, but still feeling like in the car, to be able and run all the tests that you would do on the road. So we needed a solution to somehow combine our cloud environment, where we started with the development, with the virtual possibility on target test the system without the need to go in the car. So somehow bridging this challenge. This was the initial idea, to start with that.
So truly hybrid in that
Truly
scenario.
hybrid,
Yep.
yes, exactly. And then we added another use case of hybrid, because we learned, of course, with AI having more and more importance also in development and in the system itself, that having GPUs available to a certain interesting price and a certain level of security is very important. And we tried and finally managed very well together to build this hybrid system up with both the electronic control units that we would have on the vehicle in our co-location, but also GPUs to build the system.
Okay, so effectively starting with that verification, that validation platform in the co-location with the control, and actually then expanding out GPU workloads. Okay, Rob, I'm gonna kind of come back to you again. Kind of congratulations on the Ryder Cup. Actually, it really was exceptional. I really enjoyed watching it. Even the final day when the US were clawing it back and kind of reining us in. So congrats on that. And I know, as you set out thinking about that Ryder Cup, one of the goals was to really deliver something unique, but actually leverage technology or AI innovation to make the Ryder Cup kind of increasingly kind of special as an event. So what were you, as you were planning that in the early stages, what were you setting out to achieve?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges with this event is it's every 2 years, and the amount of consumption and ways people engage with content and data and try to make decisions on our operations team, I mean, that travels light years in a 2-year span, and we don't have a Ryder Cup every 4 weeks to test and get some reps. So when we look at technology as a way to help smooth that over and also meet the fans where they want to be met in terms of other sporting events that they go to, our expectations of us rise. So one of the biggest things we wanted to do with the event this year was use technology to help improve that fan experience. As a way of this partnership, we were able to bring all sorts of data points that we were collecting on site, whether it's people movement, people counting, how many people were on the Wi-Fi, how many beers and sandwiches were sold, and we were able to anticipate people's movements and greet them with messages or let them know about grandstands being full before they travel to it. So our theme was really
tracking the beer to sandwich ratio. I think it's pretty important. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could see on a map that, hey, this beverage stand was tapped out and had a line of 20 people, and this one was empty. So we were able to kind of help that fan experience and say, hey, by the way, green 7 is empty if you want to move over there. And that was an unanticipated outcome of all the technology we put in place. But yeah, our theme really, when we started this, was to improve fan experience and help our operations team to improve the fan experience.
Yeah, no, I like that. So you kind of got operational efficiency at one end to make it run, and then actually, just making the event better through fan experience. And then actually, they both become kind of self-fulfilling, because with the operational efficiency, the fan experience in itself kind of improves. So
yes, that's right.
Okay, so some great aspirations in the planning, and then as you started to kind of move through this, kind of what unique challenges did you face in trying to kind of, I guess, solve for this on a golf course?
Yeah, so I talked about the business challenge of this event being every 2 years, not having a ton of ways to test and evaluate ideas.
Yeah.
The technical challenges are immense. I mean, this is a temporary infrastructure. We are susceptible to weather. We are laying hundreds, if not thousands of miles of cable around the venue and picking it up the Monday after. I learned this year, this was a new one, we had a circuit. We bring in 3 to 4 circuits for internet connectivity to the venue to power all the TV productions. And one of the circuits went down, and I asked, like, how does that happen? And we went to our networking team, and they were like, our biggest problem of this event is every night when they're moving things around, cleaning bathrooms, restocking food, they cut fiber. And I didn't know that. So, I mean, they're fixing it, but I mean, you think about running a data center, that's not a problem at a data center, but when we run these events and have this temporary infrastructure, that's an enormous technical problem. And down to that circuit example, one of the things we were able to anticipate when we had to move traffic over to another telco to provide it, we were able to look at all the networking gear, how much was being consumed, where on site it was being consumed, and then our team made some predictive decisions on where to send traffic and how to get it off the venue.
So getting excellence, getting resilience, but doing that in effectively a big field for a few days, right? So it's kind of a temporary platform.
Yeah, and that was not on the roadmap when we started this, right? And it was something that the team deals with day in and day out at these events, and something on the leadership side that I learned about during that event.
Okay, so Max, I'm going to come back to you. So we talked a bit about Snowball and kind of building out this platform to solve for these kind of demands around risk, around security, around resilience, and also kind of the base or the foundation for business innovation. So Snowball's rolling, it's growing, it's getting bigger. So kind of how far have we got? How progressed is it as a program, and is it moving as expected?
Yeah, as you know, Snowball is one of its main ideas is to provide business continuity. So what we have achieved so far is that we are really running the services in 2 different regions within Austria, and one of the biggest achievements so far was that we were capable of providing these geo-redundancy features, not in theory, but in practice, and not by re-engineering the applications or by complex application design, but through infrastructure capabilities. And I think we have shown that
So that means if I'm on my app and I'm ordering a case of the finest wine for the Waters household and one data center goes down, I'm not going to lose my order. The wine will still arrive.
You should not lose it. Yeah, exactly. And this is what we showed. I mean, we showed that we are capable of moving workload from one region to the other within minutes. And and this is basically true platform resilience, and that's exactly what we wanted to show. So this is the baseline where we are at the moment. And I think, we are, let's say, from the project point of view, we are where we wanted to be. Still, there are a lot of pieces missing, but that's the idea of rolling the snowball.
Yeah, and it's starting to transition the applications across. So as you've got this far, what were the biggest challenges you've faced in trying to kind of build out this greenfield geo-redundant platform? And kind of looking back, is there anything you'd have done differently, knowing now what you already know?
Yeah, basically, I think, I mean, there are a lot of things, but to sum it up to 3 to 4 topics, I would say. First of all, as we said, it's a greenfield approach. So I think it's always a little bit of a danger if you think about a greenfield approach, because then you as an engineer, you think, now I can design everything I ever wanted to have, but this might then end up in a trap that you never get finished.
Everyone's got a great idea.
Everyone gets a great idea, and that's of course the topic that you really focus on what you really want to have. So this is very important, and especially with respect to
locking down that scope, I guess,
exactly,
really tightly.
Scoping it right. This is a very important aspect. A second part is that you need, in order to deliver something like that, you need the right people. So you need the right staffing, you need the right project management, you need the right solution architects, but also the right engineers. And you need this, of course, on both sides, because otherwise it does not work. So from the provider point of view, and also from our business point of view, so the right setup of the team. And and last but not least, it's also important to think in terms of services, because what we want to achieve is we want to consume the service. And so it's engineering versus service. And you can engineer the best solution, but if you cannot use it, it's pointless.
It's a great message for the services guy. I like that. But I think it's quite important, actually, when you think about these programs, the difference between engineering, kind of like the science, effectively, and the services, and then the business interaction, which is kind of the art of the project. Okay, Alcon, I'm going to come back to you. So we talked about the solution being hybrid in terms of where you've got to. What's the mix right now? And how does that work in a hybrid environment? Are you finding that is progressing well? What bits of that are challenging?
There are so many things that are challenging. Maybe I'll start with some things that I just heard, because Rob already talked about things that were not on the roadmap. This is something that somehow sounds familiar to me. So we never knew where we would come up and if it would really work or not, and now it turns out it works better than expected. So the challenge was to really bring this hybrid system to make it truly hybrid. We always heard about that, yeah? So you have something in the public cloud, you have something in on-prem, you know this or that works, but this true hybrid solution was really new for us, and to see how it brings value to the organization. And we started small with a certain extent, and we are now about to really increase to a bigger size, thinking about scaling with more workloads on the one hand, and maybe in the same environment, but also more use cases at Bosch, other projects, think about other countries and a global footprint, of course. And so at the point today, I would say the split is still a small part in the co-location, because we wanted to show, like your snowball project, we need a small thing where we make sure it is realizable. This is what we did. And now we can think about shifting the workloads maybe even more.
Yeah, and because you kind of made that decision, didn't you, at some point in the project to say, okay, we want to move, we've got this validation and verification platform in our co-location, but we actually want to start to move our AI workloads into the kind of the co-located GreenLake platform, or kind of what I'd call, and I'm sort of leading the witness a bit, what I'd call kind of like a sovereign AI factory, if you like. What was the rationale for that decision to do that in the colo, and how easy was it to start to transition those workloads from the public cloud into effectively your sovereign AI platform?
We have been talking about speed. So starting with the reasoning why we started in the public cloud, of course, this was speed. And the more we understand how we work, how our workloads are, we want to optimize them, also in speed. And then also in cost, of course. Yeah, we want to bring automated driving in Europe to everyone. So we have competitors out who can do it maybe much cheaper than we can, or who have other capabilities. So we really try to optimize everything. And then we had the chance to do both and optimize for our workloads and the cost at the same time. And the challenge was big. When we started the V&V environment, I thought we maybe write history with the longest RFP phase ever, because we had no idea how we would solve all this. And the architectural footprint we found and the solution generally shows that it is capable to do many things. And so in the end, the transfer and the hybridization was much easier than we thought. So I think we started in August, and we are productive already.
Yeah, it's delivered on speed, for sure. Okay, and so then kind of sort of based on your learnings and insight from doing that, is there any guidance or any points you'd give people to consider, anyone who's looking at kind of like a technology platform or an AI factory platform, and they're looking at hybrid, they're looking at kind of the choice points around that, any guidance points you'd offer?
Be flexible, keep asking yourself if you're doing the right thing, and also be brave. So it can work, and if you know what your target is, you can reach it.
Yeah, okay. And then congratulations on the progress so far. So, Rob, back to you. So for now, project delivered, Ryder Cup over, Europe won again. So I can't stop saying that, can I? Sorry, you won't come back, will you? Okay. But no, just, I mean, congratulations on that. But then as you kind of look back on it and everything that you managed to achieve, what was kind of like the most impressive outcome for you that you got to, the one you're most pleased about? And also, what was kind of the hardest moment as you look back?
I would say the most impressive outcome that we had was an improved people counting effort, where we were able to work with HPE and your partners to develop and deploy a people counting solution across 200 cameras on site. That resulted in grandstand capacity for fans, so they knew where to go. That resulted in things in our merchandise tent, which is a huge commercial opportunity to figure out how many people are in there, how long they're spending, how big their bags are. And then there were some unanticipated wins from that. We had weather on Thursday and a weather emergency, so we had to know how many people were on site at that time. Typically you get people scanning their tickets in and then they walk out, so you don't know the difference, and this people counting was able to help us determine, hey, we had 10,000 people, we had to get out of there. So I would say that those were some of the more impressive wins, and then we were able to bring it through a dashboard that we built in partnership with the HPE team that let us visualize that. we weren't looking at tabular sheets or anything.
Yeah, okay. And the hardest moment? What was the...
Yeah, operationally, unrelated to anything, we had a special visitor on Friday morning with President Trump come into the venue.
Which is always a challenging moment for everyone concerned.
Which was our hardest moment. Yeah, but I would say technically the hardest moment we had, again, going back to the temporary infrastructure, the things we were consuming data from weren't on site until 7 to 10 days out. So we were kind of working in our labs, not together, but virtually with all these different vendors, trying to bring data sets together, exchanging feeds, assuring the feeds were going to look this way the week of, and then we turned it on, a week out. And that was probably the hardest thing. Was
hold your breath.
Holding your breath, exactly. And sure, some things didn't work, and we had to, bail on some of them and say it's not going to work, and other things we had to fix. But that was probably the hardest thing, is just, I think with any innovation life cycle and coming to life for, the first time, not having the chance to test it and all that stuff turning on, 7 days out was a big one.
And I'll put a leading question in because I'm allowed to, because I'm moderating, right? So you had services from HPE, AI services, which is part of what I talked about, to effectively pull together the solution. I work with multiple software providers, kind of collate some of that data. Just any kind of comment on the team? I mean, I know there's a lot of people, it was a labor of love for many of them, but kind of any comment on bringing in skills for AI services to support your outcome?
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about this, but the biggest focus that my team has is on the fan and customer experiences. And we know the technology and the foundation that's required to build it exists. And having the HPE team come on, we were getting status reports on things are good, things are green, this is yellow, you got to dig in, a piece of hardware didn't show up. We solved that, but we were not running cable, we were not jiggling wires, we were not ensuring systems were synced. I was getting updates as the GM of the products to make sure that everything was working, our fans were being delighted, and our operations team was able to use it. And that was the biggest win. We've gone through a lot of vendors where you kind of all have to hold on together, and I'm sure everyone in this room has been through that, and it really wasn't that type of partnership.
We were all holding our breath on the switch on. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
And this
maybe you guys were behind the scenes, but yeah, on the business side, and on the customer side, it was a very professional engagement. Very succinct, and the issues we had, we probably didn't even know about all of them, which I think is a win.
No, I wanted to make the point, 'cause actually it's the role that our people on the ground can play from a services standpoint in making all this innovation, all this technology that we hear about in an event like Discover actually kind of real in the execution. And then kind of final quick one on that. In terms of the solution, you selected private cloud for AI as the solution for that, which is effectively a kind of an engineered kind of AI factory kind of platform. And I think the proposition or the promise was speed, simplicity, out-of-the-box functionality. Did it deliver on those aspects? Any kind of reflections on that kind of private cloud for AI component?
Yeah, a big one that you didn't mention was privacy. We had phone numbers and contact
I've got to update my
information
notes.
For all of our talent in the system. We use this as a repository to ask, hey, I need to get in touch with this person right now. What's the best way to do it? So that was a big reason, is we didn't want to put Colin Joseph's email address and phone number in a public cloud and have that risk getting out. But in terms of the solution, it was turnkey. The hardware was ordered and shipped and installed, and when we moved all the software over, it worked from my standpoint flawlessly.
Just worked. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left. I'm gonna ask some questions to kind of all of you now. So we'll kind of go down the line and we'll do that. So. Just quickly, so one practical point for people to think on, based on your learnings, based on your project. Is there anything you'd offer people to kind of consider that we've not talked about? And we can kind of do that fairly quick fire. Maybe Alka, I'll start with you, because I'm going to give you the least amount of thinking time on that one. That's
you keep challenging me. That's good.
Yeah.
You know that I will do the same.
Later. I know. It's all coming back. In the next project review.
So commenting on that, there is something that I learned that was not quite familiar, at least not at Bosch before. Typically, somehow everyone knows how to solve problems, and you just design the system that you think you need. And what I learned is maybe that's not a good idea. I'm good at building automated driving systems as Bosch. I'm good at bringing safe functions to the road. I'm not good at building IT environments and stuff like that. So one important learning that I would also recommend for everyone is build partnerships early. design the solution together, and then you have a real good commitment and buy-in from your partners, and this really turned out to be a good.
And I would say the
thing.
partnership that was achieved was a really good one. I remember we made some kind of real commitments around the timeline that we would get to, and I know it was always kind of quite tight, and actually the team, particularly the services team on the ground, did just a phenomenal job. And actually the partnership on both sides in making that happen was really strong.
And in the end, the team managed to over-deliver. This is not so common.
Yes, note that down, over-delivered. Max?
Yeah, I think to add to Elke's comment, I think it's if you build this partnership, you also need to be crystal clear on where is the border. So I think this is a very important aspect to understand what is being delivered, where is the clear border, and what can you expect. And don't be vague on those borderlines, more or less, because otherwise you end up a year later and discuss about what is now the service, or what is being delivered, or how far can we go. So I think this is a big learning to really have a clear cut. Where is the interface between the partnership?
I think that's a really important point you raised. Also, I've been heavily involved. Been down to Salzburg many times on this one. And I think at times you need to have a direct conversation, right? And you need to get clear on those scope points, and you need to kind of agreeably disagree, and then get to the kind of the final point and the right compromise. And I know we've done some of that as we've progressed.
So disagree and commit.
Rob, anything you'd add?
Yeah, one of the, I think with innovation and doing new things for the first time, there's a lot of textbook ways you can read about the best way to pull teams together, but there's a few basic principles that I've learned over my time, and then this project, which you got to build the right team, and you have to have the right buy-in from everyone. Sometimes you get a little paralyzed on, is the vision backed enough by data? It's okay to have a big idea and not have all the data sets and work towards that and try to figure it out on the way. So I think sometimes in our highly analytical society and industry, everyone tries to prove everything out and put the perfect presentation together. And sometimes you just need to go on gut and try something and get a rep and see how it works. So I would go with what you said earlier, just having courage and some ambition, being assertive, making tough decisions when the time counts, and those are some of the things we're taking away.
Be bold, set the right scope and boundaries. And actually so much of that came down, didn't it, to the team and the partnership. And I always kind of sort of say, does your team look like the Avengers? And do you have the confidence that they're going to come in and deliver? And I think it's, just a kind of great endorsement of of all the great innovation, technology and portfolio that has. It's the services teams on the ground, it's the people that actually brings that to life, makes it real. Okay, so next one, I'm going to go down the line again, but I'm going to go the other way this time. So I'm going to start with you. So I was going to say, what are the business goals for 26? But I guess for you, 27, if we think about, well, maybe to win it back might be a goal. I don't know. I'm not sure AI can help with that, but we can talk about it. But what are the business goals, and has the kind of the vision and the demands evolved as you kind of sort of lift your eyes to the horizon?
Yeah, so the 27 Ryder Cup is going to be in Ireland, so our partner Ryder Cup Europe will lead a lot of the strategy. But I would say
that might change the beer to sandwich ratio as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That location.
Right? Yeah. But I would say, backing up, just generally in this space, we're really focused on the fan and getting more data on the fan. So now, we've gotten into digital ticketing that's pretty ubiquitous across sports, so we know when people come in. We know their email address, who they are. We're now tracking and trying to find out anonymously where people are going. And now we really want to put services in place to identify that person. So there's obvious commercial opportunities, but in the mission of the PGA with growing the game, like we want to hit that fan a week or two later and offer them golf lessons or tee times or travel opportunities and try to get them to increase their enjoyment in the sport. So I would say our big focus moving forward in this space is really consumer data, fan data, and trying to understand more about the people that are attending our events.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. Max, sort of same question to you as you look at 26 and beyond, the kind of the vision for Snowball and what's next, what you're setting out to achieve.
Yeah, as I said already earlier, I mean, we are right at the beginning, so for us it's important also to get speed, to get the platform enabled and to get our workload on that platform.
Yep.
So for us it's really important to leverage this, let's say, this commodity service, what it should be at the end of the day. And for us, most important thing is to grow, to get the snowball rolling, to enhance the platform capabilities and to get our workload on the platform that we can enable all these nice features which are then built in, and that we can focus on the next level for our business demand.
Yeah, deliver those business outcomes, the business benefits, actually realize them quickly, and make the platform as effective as it can be. Alka, sort of same question. I mean, you talked a bit about scalability and scaling up. So how do you think about 26, 27 and the kind of the vision?
I would like to think in two perspectives. One is the Automated Driving Alliance perspective, where I would say, okay, we spent a lot of time in building up the capability to do things. Now it's about to do the things, right? Really speed up the developers, really crunch out everything that we can, keep the cost in the limits, optimize cost, and everything that is important to just being capable to deliver. And now looking at Bosch, of course, there is more to come. We talked about democratizing the automated driving, so it's about scaling. It's scaling with other OEMs, scaling globally, scaling with more projects, and scaling the platform to do so.
Yeah, and by the way, you mentioned developers there. Actually, it's kind of quite an important nuance point I'll just pick out, actually. I remember as we were talking about it, developer experience was always really important to you, and one of the decision points we were making or looking at is as you move out of kind of the public cloud environment and building your own, effectively, AI factory, was maintaining or even trying to improve the developer experience. Did you get there on that? Any kind of comment on developer experience?
Maybe the best comment that I can give there is there was no comment. So we moved people out of the cloud to a new platform, and they didn't even really notice explicitly. They just felt that it was faster than before and that they could do things they could not. And I think this is the best compliment that they can get.
Like that. No downgrading experience, just faster and more effective, and of course more sovereign in terms of the data control. Okay, final one before we kind of move to wrap up. I'm conscious we've got about 4 minutes to go, so just kind of, maybe away from the specifics of the project, or back to the project if you like, as you think about, and I'll go the other way. And in fact, Max, I'll start with you in the middle. I won't keep going backwards and forwards. We'll start in the middle, and then who knows which direction I'll go in. As you think about technology and AI, and you think about your business, be that kind of retail or kind of golfing fan experience, automated driving, what do you think is the most valuable use case you see right now that's kind of playing out from a technology standpoint, or that you want to go after? What would you kind of call out, Max?
Yeah, for me, this is more or less can be seen from two viewpoints. So basically, for us, the customer is, of course, in the center. Customer wants fresh and quality, high quality goods. So how to achieve that? You need to deliver the stores from the one side, so you need to optimize the supply chain and the delivery of goods. That can be supported by data and AI components. And we've been doing that for a long time to really support data and data analytics to optimize those supply chains. Yep. And now in the future, with our new applications where we reach our customers directly, this is of course a very interesting field to incorporate data and incorporate artificial intelligence to really communicate directly with the customer based on data, based on behavior.
It's funny, it all comes back to, again, that operational efficiency and that kind of customer experience. And I guess, particularly on supply chains, there's a real business benefit, a tangible business benefit you can show with supply chain improvement. Rob, same question to you. Most valuable kind of use case or target use case that you think about?
Yeah, I would say, with the AI buzzword in place, there's lots of ways that we're all using that technology, whether it's making a deck better, presentation better, or writing a document quicker. The thing that I'm most interested in, and I'm excited to see, is how to move all this technology to anticipation, not prompting someone to, or an agent to do something and give me something back, but having AI moving to this anticipation phase where we're starting to see it, but it's starting to identify on Monday that, hey, you have a really busy Friday, and you should probably figure out how you're going to get the work done that you need to get done.
It's a terrible idea to have a really busy Friday.
I know, yeah. Bad example. Yeah. We talked about some of the investments we made this year with HPE on trying to anticipate people movement. That was a bit more query-based. We had to give it some action to respond to. But I think that's going to be the biggest thing in my world. You can talk about personalization. I think all those things are going to evolve, getting people more targeted content and experiences. I mean, that's been happening for 10 years. and then we'll get better with AI. But I think I'm really excited is just getting into this anticipation phase and giving me a heads up on things.
Yeah, increased automation and being kind of further ahead of things before they happen.
Yeah, and I think some of the demos in the keynote yesterday referenced that with, you know, the automated networking adjustments and, you know, trying to see that you're going to have 750 people on a call. Do you have enough pipe to serve that? And on the fan experience and more on the operations side, less on the technical side, that's where I'm excited to see it develop.
And worth calling out, we've got a demo upstairs related to what we did at the Ryder Cup, so do go and check that demo out. I think we've even got the trophy.
Trophy is there. You can get pictures adjacent to it.
Yeah. So, you know, any Americans in the audience, you can see what the trophy looks like.
Yeah.
Elke, right, we're running out of time. Very quickly from you, most valuable use case, what would be top of mind for you?
Most valuable use case, I think it's quite evident. Bosch is about technology for life, and automated driving in the end is about bringing safety to the roads and bringing comfort to the drivers. And this is quality for your life, and I think there cannot be a better motivation than that.
Great note to finish on. You've been absolutely super guests. Thank you for sharing the insights. Please give a very generous welcome to my 3 guests today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, that brings us to the end of the session. I think 3 super stories, 3 real proven examples that link technology at the foundation, innovation, and ultimately business outcomes. And personally, it's been a pleasure to be involved with all 3 programs. I just want to finish with the point that I started with about being services-led. All of the HPE technology innovation you see, this broad portfolio spanning networking, hybrid cloud, and AI is unified, is brought together by our services teams, making it real in the field. You've got 3 great examples of where that's happening in real time. And, you know, services done well delivers faster benefit realization and ultimately operational efficiency. So hopefully you found that interesting. Thank you again for choosing to be with us. I hope you have a great rest of Discover. Please do go check out some of the related demos that we have. There's a great list up there. Do go and look at those. Really appreciate your time, and safe travels back from Barcelona after the event. Thank you again. Thank you.
We appreciate your feedback. Please take a moment to fill out our survey.